coming out and saying repeal the Second Amendment, former Supreme Court justices everywhere, and then Cuomo saying they never said it. What is their problem? I mean, this was the one thing that could wake up the sleeping giant. I mean, exactly. Why did they do that?
Blue-collar Democrats who don't like Republicans but love this country, union Democrats, working-class people who normally aren't touched by the Republican Country Club set, are riled over this issue. They have awakened a sleeping giant. The NRA is the finest oil political machine in the country when it comes to elections. Republicans who are already conceding the House and running like the lily-livered cowards for the tall grass from this president are making an enormous mistake.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Alex Jones here, back live. You know, I was saying I was going to give all the callers free T-shirts for holding over an hour and a half, but I was going to keep them on, so I'm sorry I didn't communicate. So we're going to open the phones back up because Roger wants to take calls. For the callers that were already on, they can get back in, or new callers, 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-2539, and we're going to get to you coming up here. You know, Roseanne Barr, I'm a big John Goodman fan. I was not a big TV fan in my life, but I did watch that show 25, 30 years ago when it was on. But she's been on the show 6, 7, 8 years ago. She came on 4 or 5 times. She's a listener. In fact, you can even say Roseanne Barr kind of woke up from the show. She said that on air. And I haven't been in contact with her for years. We tweeted at her today. She said she wants to come on. So Ted Nugent's on tomorrow and a bunch of other exclusive stuff. But who knows? Roseanne Barr, it looks like maybe on tomorrow. But what's interesting is top-rated shows on ABC, CBS, NBC now about 6, 7 million. Back at their heyday, they had like 30 million. People are sick of the propaganda. They just premiered her show with double the ratings that ABC gets and other top shows. 18 million in the main demo, something like 30 million total. That's on Infowars.com. And the show is just a little pro-Trump and shows both sides, kind of an Archie Bunker deal where there's both sides. That's how hungry America is to just not be beat over the head. What does that say to you, Roger Stone? I know you know Roseanne as well.
You know, she's a woman of enormous class and style. She's upgraded her look extraordinarily. She ended up on my best dressed list, and she deserves it. She's has to take the brickbats of liberal Hollywood for having an alternative view that is not politically correct. But because of her talent and because of her fame based on the great success of the show in its first run, she has some leverage. I had asked her to be on the Alex Jones show last year. She was very kind. She is indeed a viewer, and she is certainly a patriot and I think privately a supporter of the president. And she was most gracious. So I'm delighted to see the extraordinary success for a woman of great class, and I think...
well, sure, but I mean, she went on national television and said last week she supported Trump.
Yeah, no, I think, but she's not wearing on her sleeve. That's not the point of the show.
No, sure, they bring it up, and then she says, yeah, okay, he's pro-America. I mean, yeah.
It's refreshing. You don't see it out of anything created in Hollywood. She's only able to get away with it because deservedly, she's a star.
I was about to say, she's really funny. The point is that since when in America can't you support the Republican president or you're a damn demon? You know, they've got all these videos saying Trump's a Nazi, you're a Nazi, I'm a Nazi. We put a video out paralleling youth marches and gun control and all this to Hitler, and the media is calling for us to be banned. How asinine is that? I mean, like Sarah Silverman can dress up like Hitler and go on Colbert and say she supports Trump. But I've ordered a Hitler uniform, and I'm going to wear it, and I'm going to endorse Hillary, and I'm going to endorse David Hogg, and I'm going to endorse Michael Moore, and I'm going to endorse gun control, and I'm going to endorse the Democratic Party. I wonder what they're going to do when I do it, Roger.
Well, then it would be the worst thing of all time. Look, a double standard among our liberal friends, oh my goodness. Who's ever seen that? Look, the elitists, the globalists, I don't think they take any of the movement seriously, and that's to their detriment. That's how President Trump got elected. But the elites, I think, are making an enormous mistake. This attack on guns, interestingly enough, is the one thing that allows Trump to transcend the Republican base.
I was about to say, coming out and saying repeal the Second Amendment, former Supreme Court justices everywhere, and then Cuomo saying they never said it. What is their problem? I mean, this was the one thing that could wake up the sleeping giant. I mean, exactly. Why did they do that?
Blue-collar Democrats who don't like Republicans but love this country, union Democrats, working-class people who normally aren't touched by the Republican country club set, are riled over this issue. They have awakened a sleeping giant. The NRA is the finest oil political machine in the country when it comes to elections. Republicans who are already conceding the House and running like the lily-livered cowards for the tall grass from this president are making an enormous mistake. We have doubled the GNP. We have. I
was about to say, why is the Republican establishment so cowardly, so addled, so stupid? When victory is in our hands, they are running for the hills.
Because they answer to the special interests, and the special interests who control Washington, the defense contractors and the other grifters within the system, the whole swamp complex, are so threatened by the president.
They're all a bunch of cowards. They really are a bunch of cowards. We could have the whole world and build a better system, and there's all these chicken craps that follow East Coast, not bashing East Coast people, but East Coast global foundations that really have a hard-on for the country because they've always been trying to get control of the country since robber baron days. They don't get it. They just got out of the way. They'd get the whole planet. Move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. You see them curtains? You see me knock them curtains down? You see those headlights? Who bought them TVs, bitch? Tell me that. They don't get it, Roger. What is their problem?
They are too in the thrall of the special interests. Although I must say, I'm going to give the devil his due. Hero of the week. Senator Mitch McConnell, of all people, has a bill, which means it will become law. He's the leader, to legalize industrial hemp. This is an enormous step forward.
No THC, way better than cotton, banned for 80 years. What is Sessions' problem? I hear he's got dementia.
I hear the same thing. Congressman I've spoken to, met with him privately for an hour or more, describe him as addled, describe him as delusional, describe him as obsessed with marijuana, obsessed with it, obsessed with asset forfeiture.
Reefer madness, put them in jail, Lordy. That's Trump's biggest problem is Sessions.
Question why the president doesn't discharge Mr. Rosenstein and then discharge Mr. Sessions, which would be the correct order to ensure that he get an honest and non-politicized Justice Department.
You know, I know I say I don't want to hear about Russiagate, but man, we got Mattis saying, yeah, we blew a bunch of Russians up. We'll blow more up in Syria, and they better watch it. We're going to get really tough. I mean, it is like foaming at the mouth. Meanwhile, it's in the news. The communist Chinese have the codes to all the telecoms and the big national database that controls all the phone numbers and our satellites. And I'm just like, how did we ever get in this position?
No, look, the Trump administration has moved ahead on offensive weapons for the Ukrainian forces that the Russians vehemently object to in the diplomatic process and are very angry about. So much for the idea that Donald Trump is in the pocket of Vladimir Putin. We've just dispelled these athletes. I really think in many cases this Russophobia rhetoric coming from Mattis is meant to kind of bolster that narrative for the American people as kind of almost of a political head fake. Trump is not soft on the Russians. He knows exactly who they are and what they are.
When we come back, Julian Assange is now on house arrest at the Paraguayan embassy. They've cut his internet off. They've got members of the Tory thing calling him a worm and stuff. Are they about to move against one of the greatest living heroes out there? Because with me, they just try to take my kids and bankrupt me and everything else. But I'm not locked up in the Tower of London like Julian Assange.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Donald Trump.
I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. I left my cell, my pager, and my home phone at the bottom.
I sent 2 letters back in autumn, you must not have got them. There probably was a problem at the post office or something. Sometimes I scribble addresses too sloppy when I jot them. But anyways, what's up, man? How's your daughter? I know you probably hear this every day, but I'm your biggest fan. Anyways, I hope you get this, man. Hit me back, just a chat. Truly yours.
I can't stand that motherfucker, and I feel like he's not paying attention to me.
Okay.
And I was kind of waiting for him to say something.
Like his Twitter fingers, yeah.
Yeah, and for some reason, he didn't say anything.
InfoWars Life Brain Force Plus is our #1 selling product by leaps and bounds, and for a good reason. Going back about 5 years ago, we did research on what top selling nootropics were, what were most popular, what were best, what people liked, and we made it even stronger. Then we cut the price because leading competitors have 5 to 7 times markup. We only have 150%, and then it helps fund our operation. Well, now it's 50% off. That means we've got a 25% markup, and we've got it paired with the Real Red Pill that takes about 7 days to kick in. Brain Force takes about 30 minutes. But the two go together. It's the Mind and Body Challenge. They're both 50% off individually, or together they're 50% off and free shipping with the combo at InfoWarsLife.com. But it's got to end in a couple days because both of these bestsellers are about to sell out. InfoWarsLife.com to get your Brain Force Plus and Real Red Pill today.